Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about my personal goals. I feel like I have this huge smile on my face. This is actually the last sit down. I am filming this video before baby comes. Hopefully, likely she's not here yet when you're actually watching this video because it will go up pretty soon. But in the order of which I'm filming things, I'm pushing this video until the last possible second because I always want this video to be as close to the end of the month as possible, both for me checking in with my goals, but also for you to see where I got by the end of the month. And so I'm filming this on August 24th and we got a lot to talk about in this video. I'm gonna start by going through my August action steps, as always, what worked last month and what didn't work. And then the rest of this video is actually going to be like a quarterly goals video because I am refreshing or changing my quarterly goals now. I'm not gonna do it from September to October when I'm in the transition of newborn life. I thought about it now. I will, when we get to the Q4 goals, I'm not starting them on October 1st for sure. So I'll talk more about that when we get there. But I'm gonna go ahead and reflect on my Q3 goals in this video and then talk about Q4. And I'm actually not setting any goals for September, like any concrete action steps. Now, there are some things that I am carrying over from August, but I'm not writing them down, if that makes sense. So let's start by talking about August and the action steps that I had set for my goals in August. So the first one was to go on a date night with my husband. We actually did that more than once. Most of it was just meals, or it was like an event and then meals. We started going to services at the temple that we are thinking of planning to join here in Chicago, and then we went to dinner afterwards. We did that twice, and then we had a baby class. We had like a birth and labor class, and we went to lunch after that. And then actually this weekend we have like a newborn, caring for a newborn class, and we'll probably go to lunch after that as well. So that one, flying colors. The next one, not so much. So the next one was to go on at least one friend date. And if you watched last month's goals video where I talked about my plan to pull out my calendar with my friends at the baby shower and make plans for them in August, that didn't happen. I forgot. I don't know in what universe I thought I was gonna remember that was the plan. So it didn't happen. And then as I started to get into August a little bit, I just realized this was not as much of a priority. While there were friends that I wanted to see and friendships I talked about it last month, but it was a couple of Chicago-based friends that I wanted to rekindle a friendship and spend some one-on-one time with. And that just did not take priority. My energy levels are not great right now. And so my priorities have been work, getting things done for maternity leave, baby prep, and rest. And that's it. And so the friend date, I could have probably crossed it off because I made a decision pretty early in the month that I wasn't going to prioritize that. The next one was to work on the apartment list, and I knew that I was probably not going to complete it, and that is okay. I still might make more progress, but I feel so good about the progress that I have made. Pretty much the only room that I haven't been able to tackle is the kitchen. There's some reorganizing. I didn't unpack my kitchen. Other people unpacked those boxes, and so I kind of want to rearrange some stuff, organize some stuff in there, and I thought I might want to do that before baby gets here, and I might still get to it, we'll see, but it's definitely the lowest of the priority, and so if I don't get that done, that's okay. I feel really good about the apartment progress that I have made. It's pretty much everything else, including helping Sam with his office. There's only one wall left in Sam's office that we haven't tackled. So it's really just the kitchen. And so if I don't get to that, I don't get to that. The next two monthly action items were related to finance goals. And I have not gotten to these yet, but I am still planning on it. These are those tasks for me that I have been moving from week to week on my to-do list. And I like having things in more than one place. So I have it here on my goal planner, but then I also put it on my to-do list and then put it into my planners, my daily, my weekly. And these have been on there multiple times this month and still haven't happened, but I'm gonna get to them before the baby gets here. So these are two of the things that are, I'm not setting up specific September goals. These two action steps, if they don't get done by the end of August, so I'm gonna keep this hanging up through the end of the month. If I don't get to them by the time the month ends, I'm just gonna move them to the baby list, which are the last two one-time action steps. So the first one was to make a plan of the baby list. I did this. I don't think it was worth it. I haven't been following it. I've just been kind of rolling with the punches, doing what I can. I also have really been trying to, I didn't plan this out because it didn't come to me in my head. It came to me as I started working on the list, which happens a lot with goals in life, right? You start working on something and then you realize like, oh, there's a better way to do this, or there's a way that makes more sense. I've been focusing a lot more on the physical stuff as much as I can. So doing baby laundry, setting things up in the nursery, like what are the things I need to get done that require my like physical effort, and then saving the more like I can sit and do this like from bed or from the couch for kind of those later weeks closer to baby. And so the plan I made didn't really factor that in. So I made the plan, so that's all checked off because I did that, but I haven't really been following it and it doesn't really matter. But finishing the baby list, we're getting there. I really kind of wanted, and that's why I wrote finish, to have this done by the end of August so that I had all of September to just kind of rest and do what I wanted to do until she decided to come. And if she came early, then I was done and ready to go. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to finish the list by the end of August. But just like the apartment list, I feel really good about the progress that I've made. I did split it between like has to get done before she gets here and it's okay if it doesn't get to it. And again, like I talked about with the physical stuff and then the kind of more sitting on my computer kind of stuff. And I am making progress. It isn't going to be done by September 1st, but we're just going to keep chugging. All right, moving on to weekly action items. So the 2 weekly action items that were just breakdowns of the monthly was to make progress on the apartment every week and make progress on the baby list every week. And that was to just encourage me to keep going and not skip a week where I didn't do anything. Those were easy check marks, to be totally honest. Like those are my priorities right now. So there was never a week that I like had to force that. Now, I don't know if by putting it on the list, I helped keep it top of mind and that's why it happened. Or it was just easy because that's what I'm doing every single week. Like I was definitely gonna make progress on both of those lists. But either way, all the check marks in all of those areas. Now, the other weekly action item was to do 2 strength workouts. And I've done 3 of the potential 8. I went ahead and actually acknowledged that I wasn't gonna do any this week, even though I still have a couple of days left. Part of it is just energy. Like I said, my energy has just been dwindling. I feel like every day I wake up, I feel larger, and it just hasn't become a priority. Like it just isn't. I probably won't even worry about it next week either. So it is what it is. All right, let's move on to the daily action items. So the first 2 were related to getting through my photos. And I was doing already last month a pretty good job of going through them in the morning as part of my morning routine, but then I added going through them in the evening as part of my evening routine, and that has been going really well. As long as I don't have like plans out, and if I miss days, but if I'm home in the evenings, I will go through a whole batch of photos, either when I take a bath, to be totally honest with you, or laying in bed, like instead of scrolling through Instagram. And I am getting very close to being done with photos. I feel really good about that. Kind of like the baby list, I'm not sure I'm gonna finish by September 1st. I think I mentioned this last month that it came to me while I was talking that my numbers, my calculation figured if I didn't miss a day, and I did it both day, like morning and night for all of August, I would be done by September 1st. And obviously I missed days, which is fine. So I'm not necessarily on track to be done by the end of the month, but I really do feel like I'm gonna be done before she gets here, which feels so good. The next 2 goals related to baby prep were Instagram related goals. So the first one was to not hit my Instagram limit. That one has been going well. I did increase it, and I talked about that in last month's video because I was hitting it so much and I was just getting into the habit of overwriting it that I was finally like, okay, you need to increase it because I wanted to work on the habit of not overwriting it. And that has been going well. So I don't know if I'm gonna decrease it. I don't actually feel like I'm spending too much time on it right this second. And I feel like the more I just spend sitting in bed, like that's gonna continue to be the case. So I feel good about that one. The other one was to clean my Instagram and feel good about my Instagram feed. That also went really well, to the point that about halfway through the month, I was like, I'm good. I had it as part of my morning routine, so I gave myself a couple of minutes in the morning to work on this. And again, halfway through the month, I was like, it popped up on my morning routine app and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like I need to do this. I do want to continue to have the mindset of like, if I'm scrolling and I see something that I feel like it's not good for my mental health or where I'm at right now and I want to do something about it, I can, but I don't need to spend time focusing on it every single day. So I actually stopped that halfway through the month because it was good. The next one was PT exercises, and the goal was to do this more outside of just going to PT. And if you can tell by the check marks, that is not what happened. There were a couple Mondays that I did it outside of PT. Otherwise, all those check marks are actually going to PT. I don't know. It was really struggled to motivate myself to do this one, even though I do feel like it helps. But at the same time, I'm still in a lot of pain in various places, as well as exhaustion, and we already talked about it. So, oh well. And then the last one was to do some breathing exercises, some like labor preparing things that I had researched and created a routine around. And I've done it, let's see, 8 times out of 23 days. So like a third. Not great, not terrible. It's better, it's more than 0. This is also one of those things. So kind of like the baby list, right, gets carried over. The finances getting moved to the baby list. Photos, I'm gonna continue until I'm done. And then breathing, even though I'm not carrying over like creating goals for September, I'm gonna try to continue to do those in September as we prepare for a baby. So that is how August went. To be totally honest, I feel really good. Like when I look at this page, there are a lot of check marks on here, and given where I'm at physically and emotionally, I feel really good about my August progress. So let's talk about quarterly goals. So once again, I like setting quarterly goals. I feel like I mentioned this in all my quarterly goals video, and this one just happens to be kind of a mashup between monthly and quarterly. But for me, quarterly goals give me a focus for that specific quarter, whether it's a milestone that I can acknowledge at the end of the quarter, like check mark, I did that or I didn't do that, or it's just an area that I'm focused on to kind of give me guidance when I'm picking action steps. I kind of use them all interchangeably, but I really do like setting quarterly goals. I knew that when setting Q3 goals, I was really just setting for July and August, both for personal and for business, which we're gonna go through both. I knew I was pretty much setting it for July and August, and I wasn't going to worry about where I was at with these goals in the month of September. So let's start by going through my Q3 personal goals. And if you watch my monthly goals videos and you know how those action steps go, you probably could do this check-in for me and you know what's worked and what hasn't worked. So the first one was related to my overarching annual goal of relationships, and that was to prioritize our marriage. I feel like that one, 10 out of 10. Sometimes it's not like a check mark, right? But I kind of acknowledge out of 10 or out of something how I'm feeling about it. That one I feel really good about. Both spending time together on our baby moon, the dates that we've gone on, we use the paired app almost every day. That goal has gone really well, and I feel really good about that going into adding a little baby. The next one though was to expand my friend dates and to go on friend dates with other people besides just my family or my one really good friend that lives here in Chicago. And I didn't really do a good job of this. In July, I did 2. I talked about it in last month's goals video, but then obviously in August I did 0. So I guess maybe it balanced out. I did 1 each month, but I really feel like I didn't do a good job of that one. So it is what it is. The next one was to make progress on the name change. As soon as some of you told me that the name on the birth certificate did not matter because they were gonna put my maiden name on the birth certificate anyway, which I then confirmed on my own birth certificate with my mother, I gave up on this one. I basically was like, this is not a priority. I do not care. Moving on. The next one was to finish apartment list. Wow, I can't believe I actually thought I was gonna finish it. I feel like I had the mindset that I was okay if I didn't. Oh well, I wrote finish, I didn't finish, but that's okay. I feel good about it. The next one was our finance goal, and that was to solidify our parental leave plan. And this one, minus the 2 steps that I haven't finished yet, that I will get to, I will finish those before she gets here. I feel good about where we're at. We both have had conversations with each other, made decisions in our business about what our parental leave is gonna look like, how that works out for our family financially, etc. So even though it may have seemed like I didn't take a ton of steps on this within my goals videos, I feel good about where this goal is at. And the next quarterly goal was to prepare my body for labor. I don't really feel like I did a good job of this. I mean, I did start going to PT. I feel like I've done a couple of things. I don't really feel like I have done as good of a job of this as I wanted to or had the intentions of, which it is what it is. The next one was to finish the pre-baby list. Once again, feel good about that progress. Still hope to finish it before she gets here, but that will very much depend on what her arrival timing is like. And then the last one was to clean up my social media. I feel really good about this one. I feel like I'm in a good place. I like what I see when I'm on my social medias, and I feel like when I do pick up my phone, when I'm in that kind of postpartum phase, I feel like it's all gonna be positive, and which exactly what I wanna see. Okay, I was trying to decide if I was gonna move on to my Q4 personal goals or do Q3 business. I think I typically do like personal, business, but because of the like Q4 for me is a little bit more mindset-y than it is like actual concrete goals. I'm gonna finish Q3 first. So let's talk about my Q3 business goals. So the first one was to create content for maternity leave. And I feel like I'm making progress on this. I can't say that I am done with this as of the filming of this video. I have a good bit of it done, but I still have a lot to do. My goal for business was very similar to my personal goals, which was I wanted to get everything that wasn't live, like everything that was project-based, done by the end of September. And then September was just gonna be the community calls that I'm still planning to do live, the live Q&As here on YouTube, and then that's it. That way I could take that time to rest or do baby prep. Do I think I'm gonna finish the content by next Friday? No, I don't think so. I think that some things have taken me longer, or I haven't spent as much time as I want to, but do I still feel like I could get it done as long as, knock on wood, she doesn't show up ridiculously early? Yeah, I feel like I am in a good place there. The next one was the Q4 goal planner. That's in good shape. I actually filmed that flip through video today, so now all I need to do is edit and get that uploaded. The planner's done. So once I get that video edited and uploaded today, that one will be checked off and good to go. All right, the last quarterly business goal. When I set this goal, I had not had, I guess I had not had my call yet with a business coach that I work with. And once I talked with her about what was important to me for the rest of the year, this got wiped away. And it actually got replaced with 2 other things instead that I have been working on in its place. And so this one was a 0. Like I did not make any progress on this, but I've been working on 2 other things that are not captured here. One is the 2024 version of the planner. Originally, I was gonna wait to do that when I got back, but I realized by the time I got back, all of the 2024 goal planners were going to be released. And so I needed to get mine done before I left for maternity leave. So that is one of the things I've been working on behind the scenes. Also not done yet, and I'm not planning to release it until October, but it's all gonna be ready to go. That way I don't have to do anything for it when I'm gone or when I get back. So that is one of them. And then the other thing I've been working on behind the scenes, I'm gonna talk about as part of Q4. All right, let's talk about Q4. So when I say Q4 for me, I really mean like November at the earliest. I don't know what September is gonna look like. I obviously can estimate some of what I think October is gonna look like, but I really have no idea. These are really things more that I'm gonna start to think about in November, whether I set concrete action steps for November, like on the action page, monthly action page tracker, TBD on that. I know there won't be a November goals video because all of those videos will be ready to go. I will have a December goals video for sure. That's when I am committed to getting back into tracking my goals, mostly because I don't want to start it in January and then feel like I'm slightly relying on the new year. I want to get back and build that momentum in December. So there will be a December goals video. I will create action steps for December. Whether I create them for November is still very much up in the air. And some of these quarterly goals you'll see, especially the personal ones, are more of a mindset. And so if they never have any action steps, November or December, that's totally fine with me. It's really more about what do I want to be thinking about in the last couple of months of the year. So let's start with the personal goals. The first one is related to my relationship goal, and that is to do at-home date nights. So again, most of these are either a mindset thing, something that like has to happen, or it's very simple. And this is one of those that's very simple. So I want to, again, may happen in November, it may not be until December, and it may only be one, but I would like to think about some more like prioritizing some at-home, more date night-ish instead of us just like going through the motions. How to swap out the camera battery if the angle is slightly different. Anyways, we can both be so guilty of watching our own shows, eating meals on our own timelines, and just kind of going through the motions on a regular basis without a baby. And our date night time and our like focused us time, especially as we've been prioritizing it in the last quarter, has been outside the house and doing things outside the house. Now, who knows, maybe we will go on some out of the house date nights and either take her with us or ask my mom to watch her, but I don't want to commit to that. I would like to just commit to at least thinking about being more thoughtful about spending quality time together at home. We have a lot of games that we love to play. Even if it's, again, just ordering a special meal and sitting at the table together, I just want to try. That's just one of, it's kind of a mindset, kind of a very simple thing for that category for Q4. You'll notice I don't have a goal related to the name changing annual goal, which I already mentioned in the Q3 section. I just went ahead and let that go. I did, however, add an additional quarterly goal that has a color that's not related to any of my annual goals. I probably could have forced it into one of them, but I decided to just give it a different color. And that is to set up my 2024 personal goals. So I want to make sure that I set aside time in December for sure. This definitely doesn't need to be a November thing, where I am setting up my personal goals for 2024. The next one is related to the overall get settled in Chicago goal. And that's been a lot of routines and apartment setup kind of things. Well, the kind of last piece of this puzzle of why we moved to Chicago, pretty much the number one reason we moved to Chicago in the first place, is for my mom to help us with the baby. And so the quarterly goal is to figure out what that routine looks like for the three of us, my mom, myself, and my husband, watching her, our businesses, my mom's schedule, and all of that, figuring all of that out. What is our routine there so that we feel good going into the new year? I completely understand that routine is going to be in flux at all times based on all of our schedules, based on the baby's needs and nap times and all that jazz. But I would like to start at least the routine of like us talking about it. So how often are we sitting down to like look at calendars and be like, all right, who is on duty at any given time? I watched a YouTube video actually about this, and I'm afraid to talk about it because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find the link again, of somebody who was talking about, she just did it was between her husband, and the daycare hours. But it was like a Google Cal, and it was like who is on baby duty at any given hour. And that's basically what ours is gonna be like as well, except with my mom instead of daycare. And so what does that routine kind of look like in terms of making a plan, adjusting it as needed, etc. So that's the overall Q4 goal. And that one will have to start back in November because I am planning to work a little bit in November. I'm coming back for the community only in November. I'm doing kind of like a tapered back in from maternity leave plan. So everything here on YouTube will still be pre-filmed, but I'm planning to teach live the coaching calls in the community in November. And so we're gonna have to figure that out. The next one is our finance related goal, and I just wrote keep tracking. Again, I don't necessarily feel like I need to be checking this off on any sort of tracker. It's more of just a mindset thing of not letting the financial tracking fall to the wayside. And I feel like this is even more important now because in the past, when we've had like big life events, the wedding, the move, I let tracking for that month fall to the wayside because I didn't want to deal with all the extra expenses related to that said life event. And I was like, it's fine. I'm just gonna let that month go and I'm gonna pick back up tracking the next month. Those were one-time big life changes and expenses. This big life change comes with ongoing expenses. And so I really wanna make, not that we aren't gonna have some like differing one-time things that are related to the newborn stage, but honestly, I feel like we've already done a lot of those in preparation. I'm sure we're gonna have more like eating out costs in that first month or two or however many. But in general, I wanna make sure that I keep the tracking habit. And I don't necessarily mean that I need to be tracking every single day as part of my morning routine like I do now, but I don't wanna have the mindset that I've had when we have big life changes in the past of just letting tracking fall to the wayside. The next one is my physical health related goal, and what I wrote for Q4 is to care for my postpartum body. And if this ends up translating to action steps, awesome. If not, and it's just a mindset that I have for Q4, that's okay too. That's kind of what I'm going for here. In fact, I am probably not gonna even break down any of these goals, to be totally honest. The business ones, yes, we're not even there yet. Man, sorry this video is so long. But for the personal ones, I'm not even gonna break them down because that is not the purpose. Maybe the 2024 personal goals I will break down, and those will be concrete steps in my calendar in December. The rest of these are, again, either mindsets, they happen or they don't. And we're gonna see how it goes. Then the last one is very much a mindset one, and it's related to the overarching annual goal of having a baby. And the Q4 mindset I want to focus on is to do my best as a new mom. No concrete action steps related to this whatsoever, just reminding myself that I'm doing my best day by day and keeping that in mind as we go through Q4. So those are my personal goals, mindsets, whatever you want to call them for Q4. Let's talk about business. So same situation with the business goals. November might have some action steps related to them. Now, for my business goals, if you've watched my kind of how I plan my life video in the past, and that is on my list to do an updated version of, because I know that that has changed and will 100% change once the baby's here. So hopefully once we kind of get that rhythm of all of us and the baby, that I can do an updated version of that video. Anyways, my business goals are broken down in a spreadsheet, and then I use my Kanban board. I think I'm gonna do that in November with some stuff. Again, I'm coming back for the community, so I think I'm going to want to set them up at some action steps on my Kanban board. I don't know, we'll see. November I'm completely kind of playing that by ear. November might just be, and actually all the community calls are in the evening, so talking about that conversation with my mom might not even be necessary, because it might just be like, Sam, don't schedule calls, work calls, on these evenings that I have the community calls. You're on baby duty, the end. And that might be all I do in November. And I don't actually break down any of these business goals for November. And they may all end up being not Q4 goals, but December goals. But let's talk about them. So the first one is to get back to recurring tasks. Some of those recurring tasks in my business are related to the community, some are related to content creation, and some are related to just other business admin type things, analytics, etc. So to some extent, especially in December, I just want to make sure I'm getting back into the rhythm of those so that I'm not just trying to pick up and do a bunch of new stuff in January. The next one, very similar to my personal goals, is I have a business goal to plan for 2024. What does that look like? I will continue to set quarterly goals in the business, but I want to have an overarching thought of what 2024 could look like. What are the things I'm thinking about? And I did that this year as well. Some of those things happened and the timing made sense. Then I got pregnant and some of those things had to change. But I want to take some time, at least in December, to plan out my business for 2024. And then at a minimum, plan Q1. The next business related goal is Vlogmas. That is something that I am excited to do. This will be my 5th year. No, I think it'll be my 6th year doing Vlogmas. Yeah, I mean, I hit 5 years on YouTube and I've done it every year. I think it's gonna be different this year for sure, but I'm still excited to tackle the challenge. I'm excited, we'll see. We're gonna see how it goes, which is why I'm making it a goal, but I'm also excited to kind of have those memories documented. And also I think it will help me with that transition of figuring out what I do and do not wanna share, what I do and do not feel comfortable sharing. I think Vlogmas could help with that. So we'll see, but that is definitely a Q4 business goal. And then the last one is the other project that I have been working on this quarter behind the scenes to get stuff ready to go before I go out on maternity leave, but it's not gonna be executed until Q4, and that is to host 2024 goal setting workshops. So if you've been around, it has varied in terms of the sessions that I've offered in terms of preparing for 2024. A couple of years ago, it started as just a goal breakdown session, and it was that for a year or two. Then I expanded it, and last year there were 3 live sessions that we did to prepare for the new year. And that is gonna be very similar to what I am planning for this year. The biggest difference is it's not going to be within the community. So the community in December is gonna look just like it does on a regular basis. There's gonna be a weekly coaching call. The topics, there's like a focus topic for the month, but that focus topic is something separate from planning your goals for the new year. It will definitely still support it. Community members, if you haven't, I did post a sneak peek of the topics for September, October, November, and December. Actually, I made that public, so you could see for yourself. Even if you're not a member, you could go see what the topics are. I'll leave that link down below. But anyways, so anybody who wants to purchase and sign up is able to, whether you're a community member or not. It's going to look very similar to last year's, again, where there's gonna be 3 live sessions. They will be recorded if you cannot join live, but it will be everything you need to help you get set up for the new year. I'm very excited about it. I've been, again, doing some behind the scenes work now, getting things ready to go. One of those things has been working on emails, because when it initially launches, it's going to come with a pretty significant discount code. So if you're interested in those workshops, all the details and the discount code, I would make sure that you are signed up for my email list. We'll leave that link down below as well, because those emails are gonna come out while I'm gone. The workshops won't be until December, which I'll be fully back, live, Vlogmas, all the things by then, but the emails will come out in November. So keep an eye out for those. I am very excited about those workshops, and community members, just because it's not within the community, you are gonna get an even bigger discount. So make sure you keep an eye out for that and use your community discount, not just the general one. Okay, wow, this video turned out to be a lot. I had a lot to talk about, but you're not gonna have a goals video for a couple of months, because there's not gonna be an October one or November one. Now, there's a lot of fantastic content coming your way that I have been working on behind the scenes, that vlogs and goals and all kinds of things coming your way, but it's gonna be a couple months before we have another one of these goals videos. I have been doing these every single month for years, and so it feels kind of weird that there won't be one. But hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful in some way, shape, or form. But I need to be done talking. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Recurring task that, I almost did that, oh my God. I just realized that you can see the wrapping paper I bought at Costco the other day. It's Christmas wrapping paper that I decided to go in and buy. Anyways.